Hello, hello, hello. I got another car's headlights shining in my face right now. Is the lighting good though? All right. I want to talk about open mics and why they should be a part of the curriculum for kids in school. Even for adults in college, the experience that I've gotten from doing open mics over the last 12 years has been one of the most satisfying experiences I've had in my life. I didn't make any money. I'm not famous or anything like that. It's just been the joy of doing it. So I go and do open mics for comedy. And, comedy's something I love. I'm not like the funniest person, but I love jokes. I love going up there and sharing my points of view and trying to get a laugh because it's worth it, at least for me. And I started doing this when I was 25. I always loved comedy and I always wanted to try it. And I never had the guts to do it, but then I ended up getting injured. I was living in New York City, I got injured. And I couldn't walk for like months. It was an ankle injury. And I don't know, after going through that experience, I was like, yo, I gotta do the things that I want to do in life. And I started doing open mics. Some people go and do something else. That's what, go get an MBA or start running marathons or whatever the hell. I was like, I just got injured. I've been sitting down. I want to do stand-up. Oh, that was so bad. We're going to edit that out. I don't make jokes like that. That's really corny shit. But yeah, that's what I started doing. And the first time I even signed up, I ran away. Before they called my name. They're like, hey, we got so-and-so next, Nick on deck. And I was like, oh shit. And I think the guy before me had done very well, or maybe the two before me was doing really well. And I just I am not even close to being this good. And I left and I ran away. Then I came back and then I did it again. I signed up again, and then this time I actually followed through and I did it. There's a couple jokes that I wrote. I went up there, told it, and got some laughs and some bombs and whatever. I did it. And since then, this is something that I've just done as a part of my life. Now, why am I saying that it should be a part of the curriculum for kids in school, for everyone? Because there is so much to learn from this that just you can't learn it by reading. You can't learn it by just sitting around or watching somebody else do it. First of all, just the act of being courageous to go up and speak in front of people, right? That's one skill that you develop. Okay? Then when you actually go up and do it, and you start saying those ideas and thoughts and, these different, maybe memories you share, stories you have, your creativity, you start expressing yourself in front of others, you begin to feel more confident. You develop a confidence in yourself. In your normal life, in your work, in your social situations, you start telling stories. You start expressing opinions. You start sharing observations. And that's sort of the positive reinforcements. Because, yeah, you're going to learn through some pain too. It's often the best teacher. But learning or getting the experience of getting no laughs, right? Of getting silence. Like, forget laughter, like you don't even get a reaction. You just get nothing when you go up there a lot of the times. And you walk away feeling like, what did I just do? What in the heck did I do? Nobody liked that. That wasn't funny. I want to crawl into a place or whatever it is. And again, this is about comedy, so I think, when you're doing comedy, you expect a reaction. But let's say you're doing poetry. Let's say you're doing open mic for music. Let's say you're doing, maybe just some spoken word, maybe something serious. Who knows? Whatever you're doing. Learning to be okay in silence, learning to continue. A lot of times when early on, I would do mics, and even it happens to me now if I don't regularly do mics, you end up, like, when you're up there and you're starting to tell your jokes or your stories or whatever, and you hear the silence, it makes you want to not continue. It makes you want to not say the full joke. It makes you want to cut things off short and just get off stage like you're getting anxious and nervous. And over time, if you keep doing it over day, day by day, multiple times a day if you can, that would be even better. You learn to just keep moving forward, right? And to not lose your voice, not lose your energy, your essence on stage. It's not easy. Sometimes if you don't do it long enough, like the regular social habits kind of like creep back in. Of protecting yourself, of getting nervous, of getting it. I don't know. You have to, this is something that you have to make. It's like working out in the gym. You have to, it's a way of life. And, but when you have that way of life, you're in shape. Same way you are in the gym, you're socially kind of in shape a little bit. Not always, like you might not be completely calibrated. You might be anxious around others too, but it'll make you more relatively, it'll help you open up a little bit or get more confident, have some more self-belief, some more self-esteem in yourself. If you have that issue. And it's important also that when you're doing material, and I can say this from a comedy perspective, it teaches you a little bit about what's appropriate, how to read the room, how to, be in the moment. Let's say you are doing material, you're memorize your jokes and whatnot, but you're at a mic and someone said something before and you want to riff on that. Or while you're doing your set, somebody says something or there's a noise or something weird happens, you address it. You don't ignore it. You address even the bombs when nobody laughs, right? You try to make a joke out of it. Maybe I was talking about, I don't know, whatever. I'm in front of Trader Joe's right now. If I'm talking about doing groceries, and I make a joke and nobody laughs, I could be like, I guess you guys don't like to do groceries, or I don't know, something stupid to address that that you bombed. And oftentimes the audience, that's when they're with you. They start seeing that you're a human. They start to see you struggle or be yourself in the struggle, or fight the struggle. It'll be or acknowledge the struggle even. A lot of times they'll be yo, this guy's too sometimes when I remember when I would do it and I'm bombing, I just keep powering through jokes and not addressing anything. And I'm they can feel that you're too anxious to even address. So it's good to address things. So there's that element of being aware in the room. It kind of raises your awareness. It thickens your skin. And honestly, you can see it on YouTube. So many people are doing comedy now. It actually takes away the mystique. It is still amazing when you're watching someone that's just awesome and they're crushing and the room is laughing, and that's always beautiful. But the more you do it, you can have moments like that too. And the more, another thing is when you learn to be consistent, or like persistent as well too, in continuing to try your jokes. People think like, yo, I'll just write a joke, I'll go up there, try it, doesn't work, done with it, throw it in the trash. Or it got like a chuckle and then that's it, I'm not done with it. But getting a chuckle at open mic is a signal, right? It's a signal to like keep watering the seed a little bit. And jokes grow over time. That's the crazy thing. Like there's jokes that I do that like it's taken months to like think of an extension to it, a new tag, a new direction. But okay, the point of why it should be part of curriculums, why people should do it in school, because this is going to teach people to be more courageous, to speak, to have the, to break out of the shyness and the anxiety. Right now, we are so stuck in our phones and our screens. For a lot of people, it's hard. It's very, very hard to break out of their shells. And what's important also is that not just that it helps you break out of your shell, but it puts everybody in the same struggle too. Right? When you're all kind of like doing this thing, let's say in a classroom, it's not like, oh, one person sucked. Most likely everyone's going to suck, but everyone's going to go through that together, and they're going to feel, I think it increases your empathy as well, right? Because you can empathize with somebody on a stage. And then when you see others talking on stage, you also realize like what it is that's going through their mind, the nerves, why they may say something crazy to get a reaction, where people's hearts might be in the right place, but they're just, I'm not saying you go and do a Michael Richards, you know what I mean? But there's an empathy there. And I think it would help the new generation. I think it help anybody, everybody. So many people are scared of speaking in public. But I think less now because we have cameras, we have social media. But still, behind the camera is not the same as being in front of an audience. It's much easier for me to just sit here and talk, looking at myself on this camera. But to really like go in front of peers, it's very good. And you know what? It's a great place for people that are like constantly indoors, that don't have maybe social life. Like I'm kind of like that, I don't hang out a lot. I wish I did, but I don't know. It's whatever. It's my life, the way it is set up. But this gives me an outlet. This gives me a place to go see people. Oh, that's another thing. Okay. Is to see people regularly. That's really important for the mind. It's really important to see people on a regular basis, on a weekly basis. There's friends that people have that they don't see on a weekly basis. Like that sucks. It erodes the feeling of closeness. We are tribal human beings. We have tribal minds and physiology, and we're meant to see people regularly in our tribe. Right? It's the time element, the time that's spent with people. That's what builds the bonds and the experiences. And so if you don't see them often, it's hard to maintain a friendship or a relationship. Or not to say that, but to maintain closeness. Right? And I'm not saying I go to these mics and I'm tight with everyone there, but I see them regularly, and there's a familiarity. And we know the term familiarity stemming from family. Right? And where does that familiarity come from? It's just something that you've exposed to over and over and over again. So that's a beautiful thing. That's another beautiful element about it. And it's it's a good place to express your thoughts, because maybe not everybody wants to hear your thoughts in your life. Over time, you get to learn what things might work, what things might not work. There's just so many elements, man. There's so many good elements to this that that it's important. I don't think it's. I think it's actually bringing us. I think it brings us back to being more human, probably being more like our ancestors. I mean, even like if you go before agriculture was developed, people were probably sitting around the fire telling stories to each other. That's all that this is. Open mics. We're sitting around telling our stories to each other. To be honest, those guys probably had more fun because they knew each other and they would have so much more closeness. But anyway, I think it's a beautiful thing. I think it should be a part of school, part of life, just like many other subjects, like finance and like things that are actually like useful day to day. So I encourage anybody, man, if you're an introvert, if you're someone that just wants to express themselves, find an outlet. If you're someone that looks like, or that's like looking for a community, a place where you regularly see people, like find a mic, an open mic in your town. I guarantee there's like some regular weekly thing that someone does. And, slowly you get to know people. And, with AI coming, like, this is what humans are meant to be doing. We're meant to be bonding with one another. We're meant to be closer in our communities. We're meant to entertain one another. I think it's a beautiful thing. I encourage everyone to do it. Everyone has a sense of humor. I don't think it's like, and you could see it on YouTube now, like that mystique of like, oh yeah. You know how in the 90s or the 2000s, they would interview these comedians and like ask them questions like, oh my God, when did you know you were funny? And how did you know that you were going to do this and this and that? And they would treat it like it was such a mystical quality that like, oh my God, you were born with this 1 in a million trait that is so rare, and you're funny. You can entertain the masses. And it's like, now you can see how much comedy is out there and how many people are funny, right? I genuinely believe that everybody's funny. Everybody has a sense of humor. Right? Okay, I shouldn't say that. Not everybody's funny, but like everybody has a sense of humor and everybody can develop their sense of humor. And that's another element to this. Man, I could talk about this all day long. Like, it's great, but this is like something I encourage other people to try. And yeah, genuinely, I think it should be part of school. One day, if I could ever create my own school, my own curriculum, I would put open mic as a class. And it's like one of those like attendance classes, man. Like you show up and you go up, right? And you do it. That's sort of like a writing class. And it's a class where technology is not involved. That's the other beautiful thing about it, is it's not involved, right? And it can be a space to even like learn to like play with other like people, like joke around, learning what's too much, too little, all this kind of stuff. I don't know. This is what I think. I think it would be awesome, man. I think it would be awesome if schools did that. So anyway, that's me rambling.